presenter for the next session, Rajendran. Rajini is currently a site reliability engineer at JPMorgan Chase. She has had the benefit of working with software in many industrial sectors, including higher education, finance, aviation, and healthcare. One of her favorite motivating phrases is, "You do not need a title to be a leader." I have certainly found this to be true in my experience and believe if you look around, you will see leaders everywhere, even in the mirror. Today, Rajini will share with us some practical guidance for adjusting, adapting, and overcoming challenges. Now let's hear what she has to say about sparking career resilience.
Thanks, Stephanie. And hello, everyone. I'm going to start sharing my screen now. So we're going to be talking about career resilience today. If there's one main point, one key concept that I hope you will take away after this presentation, the title of this book says it all. And if there's one image that I would like you to remember, it is this one. Some of you may have seen this analogy before. When thrown in hot water, carrots become mushy and break apart. Eggs may stay intact, but they harden on the inside and lose their original characteristics. The coffee bean is a little different. It does not change much itself, but instead, it actually changes the very nature of the water that it is in. That is career resilience. Today, I'm going to share some tips and techniques to find and nurture the resilience that is within each one of us. So this is what the roadmap for the session is going to look like. I will start with a brief overview of the Spark Resilience program and move on to talk about career resilience. I will try to tie everything together using my career journey as a backdrop and finish with some tips and techniques to build career resilience. So let's get started with Spark. This was actually designed by experts in applied positive psychology experts. And it was originally created as a school-based positive education program for 11 to 14-year-olds. But I think that everybody can benefit from the concept. So let's see what it's all about. SPARK, as you can see, is actually an acronym, and it starts with the S for situation. When we find ourselves in a situation, our minds automatically create perceptions, what is happening, why it's happening, what it's going to mean, and so on. And based on this, we go on autopilot. So it's actually this original perception that drives how we react to the situation. But what if we are a little more deliberate about each of these stages and learn from the experience? That's actually the K for knowledge in the Spark program. The program teaches students to acknowledge their perception and actually give it, using a metaphor of parrots, give it a name. For example, if the perception is that somebody else is to blame for everything, the parrot of choice is the blamer. There is a judge, there is an optimist. If the perception is, there's nothing I can do, or it's all my fault, there's a parrot for that too. Once they have the parrot, the students, instead of trying to justify the parrot, are actually taught to put the parrot on trial and challenge it. Ask the hard questions. Why this parrot? What proof does this parrot have? If I do what this parrot is making me want to do, is it going to help in any way? Is there something alternate that I can do to get a better outcome instead? By using this process, students learn to identify with their emotional triggers and their automatic responses. They learn to challenge biases in thinking, and they learn to basically control and diffuse negative emotions. They build emotional resilience. But why bring this up in a discussion on career resilience? If we think about it, we can have stressful situations in the workplace too. Think balancing, finding work-life balance, or having to deal with a difficult customer or coworker at work. The parrots of perception can pop up in the workplace too. Changes cause stress, and we know that at work there can be a lot of changes, promotions, changes in roles and responsibilities, company mergers, acquisitions, restructuring. The list is long. A career research calls all these events career shocks and starts with this quote to drive home the importance of being prepared. What is worse than an unexpected shock is an expected shock for which one has refused to prepare. We know changes in careers are inevitable, and it is on us to take charge and be prepared. The recent pandemic has further amplified the importance of career resilience. Everybody has been affected. It has been challenging for everyone, but research has shown that women are disproportionately affected. A research study showed that in September 2020, when schools started again, 80% of the 1.1 million people who left the workforce were women, 80%. And as the second graph shows, in a dual career home, it's typically the woman who takes on more extra hours for household chores. It's no wonder then that 1 in 3 mothers thought about downshifting or leaving the career workforce during the pandemic. The pandemic has really driven home the importance of having career resilience to go through these twists and turns that may come up in our career path. This next section is going to be more in retrospect, kind of a post-game analysis, if you will, but I wanted to share my career journey and some lessons learned along the way as related to the topic. Now, I must say I took the scenic route to get to where I am today. And I say that for a couple of reasons. We have moved a lot based on my husband's career, but geographic roots aside, I think that I had a colorful career journey. This is not drawn to scale, but you can see there were ups and downs and some unexpected twists and turns. I will touch on some of these points as we now go over some tips to build career resilience. To begin with, know your strengths and your limitations, and yes, build emotional resilience. Challenge yourself, push your limits, but take care of yourself too. Remember, everyone has a breaking point. Do not allow yourself to be pushed over the edge. Don't keep bending until you break. Start by learning to know more about yourself. And this extends to the careers too. Find out what your strengths are, what drives you, what's your dream job, and what can help you get you there. Identify the training that you may need to make it happen. And talking about training, keep learning. Now, given that we are in the world of technology where things are constantly changing, this is more or less a necessity. But I think there's another angle to that. Once the kids grow up, it's women sometimes get the drive to get fired up about the careers again, and we are ready to take it all on. But to be competitive at that point, when ageism may also creep into the picture, it's important that we keep up with the changing demands of the tech industry and keep updating our skills. Take the online courses, attend the online conferences. There are so many opportunities out there to keep learning these days. The next step would be to build trust and visibility. So we know that we are capable, but key players knowing what we can do is what will push our careers forward. So become the trusted team player, become the go-to person, speak up, volunteer, take high visibility projects. Let people find out how capable you really are. And this next step may help with that. Grow your support network. And this can include your family, your friends, co-workers, mentors, and sponsors at home. I did not have a formal mentor or sponsor at that time, but I have been lucky enough to have people voluntarily step into that role at critical times for me. I had just established myself with my very first job in South Carolina when we had to move to Delaware for my husband's new job. When I mentioned this to my manager, he said that if I was willing to commute, he would talk with corporate headquarters in Pennsylvania and try to see if I can transition into a different team there. He followed up on it, things worked out, and I could seamlessly move into a new role the very next day after we moved to Delaware. There was another time when the manager, he left for a different company, but he made it possible for me to follow him there. So remember, mentors and sponsors can be an organic relationship that develops. You can develop those relationships organically. Learn from everyone you meet, build your professional network, and try to support and help others too. This one I think is important, strengthening soft skills. I would say get leadership training, even if your title does not say leader. Get business training, even if you're in a purely technical role. These are transferable skills that can apply to any job in any company. So it kind of broadens your base for career resilience and can open up more opportunities. And finally, be willing to extend yourself. In my previous job, I had the opportunity to take on the role as a DBA. Funny story, but very soon after I took the role, I had gone to a local conference, and during the break, I went to the restroom. I pushed open the door and almost involuntarily pulled back to check on the sign on the door again, just to make sure that I wasn't walking into the janitor's closet or something. Why? Because right next door was the men's room, and there was a long line of men standing and waiting outside. This was the first time ever, and probably the only time so far, that I have seen a line for the men's room and nothing at all for the women's room. It kind of made me more conscious that I was getting into a predominantly male-dominated role. But I'm certainly glad that I had the opportunity, because you know what I found out with time? That some IT roles inherently offer more opportunities to develop and demonstrate leadership skills than other roles. As a DBA, it was the role of DBA was actually a golden ticket for me to break into this domain, and I got a whole new perspective. I was able to interact more with clients, vendors, multi-discipline teams, and managers. I was able to even get a glimpse of how finances and budgets and risks and timelines all fit into the decision-making process. These are opportunities that I got only through taking this role. So bottom line is, extending yourself can be scary, but I would encourage all of you to get out of the comfort zone. The comfort zone is where things are predictable and we feel safe and in control. But the opportunities to learn and grow are outside of this comfort zone. And it's only through learning and making mistakes and working through difficult situations that we actually find more opportunities to grow and develop. And of course, avoid the negative talk. Don't talk yourself out of opportunities. I'm going to use this slide because I think this kind of summarizes everything we went over so far. And we can see that change is difficult and we can go through different stages. But as you can see, it's the negative emotions, the anger, the frustration, the disappointment, or disillusionment that actually pulls us down and actually may derail us and take us totally out of the track. So learn to control your parrots of perception. And I would like to finish on a positive note. As Bob Marley said, we all have strength. We all have resilience. And as you may have heard the quote, you never know how strong you are until being strong is the only choice you have. And as this quote up here says, if the need arises, we will find hidden reserves of courage and resilience we did not even know we had. But while some stressful events are totally out of control, when it comes to our careers, we can take steps to handle the ups and downs. Have confidence in your abilities. Don't be afraid to extend yourself and take that next step, however small it may be, it may seem now, to build career resilience. We do not have to wait for the next traumatic event to force us into action. Start now, start today. And yes, we can do this. Thank you.
Great, thank you so much, Rajini. That was wonderful. My name is Andrea Little-Lumbago, and I have the great pleasure to introduce Madhuri Muralikrishnan for the next talk, Identify Transferable Skill Sets to Land Your Dream Job. You'll see from her background that she is the perfect person to be talking about how to identify these transferable skills. It's something that I think is often overlooked and underexplored across the entire tech industry. So Madhuri has over 12 years of experience in management consulting and product strategy in tech, and she leads the product marketing efforts for collaboration services across Adobe Creative Cloud. Prior to Adobe, Madhuri led the GTM strategy for cloud transformation products at Vmware. She finds her career navigation roots in her industry-agnostic consulting experience at Accenture and Slalom. Additionally, Madhuri is a founder and creative director of a philanthropic platform called Flute Theory that helps empower underprivileged causes through performing arts, benefiting nonprofit organizations globally. She's an artist and creative director of 8 original songs and mashups released on Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music, YouTube, and other platforms. And so if all that wasn't amazing enough, she's also a great speaker. So really excited to introduce you to Madhuri Muralikrishnan. Take it away.
Thank you so much. That was a very generous introduction. And good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody from wherever you are. This is Madhuri Muralikrishnan. I want to take a second to acknowledge the prior speakers. Both Linda and Rajini shared such valuable insights. I definitely thought there were some really key insights, especially for women, that we all encounter. So thank you to them, and I hope you had the same takeaway as me. I'll go ahead and share my presentation, and we can dive right in. Let's see. Okay. Perfect. So let's dive right in. What are we going to talk about today? I'm looking to go over identifying transferable skill sets to find your dream role. I'll look at some of my background and introduction. I hope everybody had a chance to put in some answers to the poll questions which were out there. And then I'm going to give you guys 5 quick steps, which I like to call career navigation hack. And then look at any questions you guys may have and share my contact information. So going in to the first slide here. So who is Madhuri Muralikrishnan? Why am I talking about this topic? So to give you a little bit of an insight, I started out in this country with my grad school at USC. I am a computer science major. And while I was going through my computer science program, I realized that I was very, very business focused. I did not want to write code for a living. I did not want to be a programmer. That was my first step in navigating my career, from not choosing to be a programmer and actually selecting an SAP elective that later on helped me find my first job at Accenture as a consultant. I worked at 5 different industries in customer segments. It really helped me shape that cross-industry or cross-product and be agnostic of either, and wear different hats and take on different challenges in different companies. And then from Accenture, I moved on to Slalom. I was not ready to quit consulting just yet, but I was burnt out of travel. So Slalom was a really good company with great culture, great people, where I was able to continue doing some of my business-focused roles in product management, marketing, business strategy, and program management, where I spent a lot of time in Silicon Valley clients. From Slalom, I found my home at Vmware next, wherein I moved to business transformation and automation team. It was more of an internal consulting, being able to continue what I was doing at Slalom, but do it at an industry focused at Vmware. My primary reason to move from consulting to VMware was I wanted more accountability. For those of you who have been in consulting before will know the difference between working in the industry and a consulting industry is between being a parent versus a nanny. You get to do the same things, but you just have so much more accountability when you're working for a company. So whether you're leading a product, a program, a project, what have you, the accountability really motivates you. From there, while I was at VMware, I moved, rather not moved, I actually launched my initiative on the side called Flute Theory. Like you heard earlier, I am an artist on the side. Of course, COVID took a lot of toll on that, so I hope to get back to it. But I teach dance to my students at a studio, and I partner with nonprofits, and I get my students to donate the tuition that they would otherwise pay for the dance to this partnering nonprofit. So it was a three-way win-win for everybody. We did something good, we had a lot of fun, and had a great time doing it. And then outside of that, I'm also very much focused in trying to set out any music singles, and I have a lot of fun living my purpose, my passion with creative arts. That really helped me understand what where my natural fit was. So when I seek to move into product marketing within VMware, the launching of Flute Theory really helped me understand why I should move there. And why I should be going into pursuing product marketing. I'll leave that story for a bit when I go into my slides ahead. But Flute Theory played a huge role in helping me understand I should be doing product marketing for a living. And then from there, I wanted to focus product marketing efforts to the creative audience. So today I work with customers who are creative professionals, they're illustrators, they're designers, I work across multiple apps for being able to help them with their creative journey with collaboration services. So it gives me a lot of joy that I'm able to do what I love, and I'm doing it for the people that I really relate to, the creative people. And then from here, who knows what's next? I'm learning more about myself every day, so I'm super excited. So for the poll questions, I did take a look very briefly. I did see so many of you have responded. Thank you so much. For the first one, especially, I did see that there more than 90% of the respondents are saying that they're looking to move into a different organization. And they have been a lot of few who have received positive responses, which is awesome. And then there are a few who've said that they did not receive positive responses. And then there are a few who have said that you are able to reach out to a prospective mentor or coach, or some who haven't. No matter where you lie, on which side you lie, I'm hoping you guys have something to take away from what I'll be sharing today. So this is what I'd like to go over. I call this a career navigation hack. It's a 5-step process for you to get to your dream role. The first one is to find your why. I will get into each one of these as I go through all of them. But for now, the first one to focus is to find your why. The second one is to identify your transferable skills. The third one would be planning for your skill gaps. The fourth one would be able to list all your areas of growth. And the fifth one would be to network and apply. And then you're, boom, getting to your dream role. So let's get into each one of these. Finding your why. Why do you need a why? I strongly believe you need a why for a variety of reasons. But the few of them that I've listed here is, one, it gives you a clarity on what it takes to be a potential fit. I want to be a product manager. Why? Why do you want to be a product manager? If you've not been a product manager today, do you know what it takes to be a fit? And if you do know what it takes to be a fit, then how much of that are you fully self-aware of whether or not you are a fit today? So if you're able to communicate why with complete clarity on what it takes to be a potential fit, your future hiring manager or your future recruiter will be able to see whether or not you have come prepared to understand what it takes to be a potential fit for this role. The second one is to find a rewarding yet fulfilling career transition. And I want to emphasize that this is not a job. You already have a job. You want a career transition. So it has to be more meaningful than you wanting a job. So need a why to demonstrate that you're not just looking for a job, you're looking for a career transition. Third is to being able to influence how you're being perceived. When a hiring manager is looking at you, they are making some perceptions about yourself, of what you do, how you present yourself, what's your clarity on things. If you come prepared completely, they're going to be on your side. They're going to be your coach. They're going to be your mentor, and they're going to be your cheerleader. So you want to be able to influence that perception. So having that clarity will help you be there. And then it also shows that your own level of investment in your career, you have to be in the driving seat. You have to be the driver's seat, because that's what tells people that you're just looking for directions. You're not looking for someone else to drive your car. So that's a big difference between asking someone to say, I need to get there, just get me there, versus, can you tell me how to get there? I know where I want to go, right? So you need a why for that to be very, very clear. How do you define why? So I'll give you some examples of not so useful whys. The reason why I say not so useful whys is because they are whys, but they won't inform you about your decisions or where you need to go. So job titles, pay and bonus, the company brand, RSU, stocks, I do not like X, Y, and Z, or what have you, or promotion. These are not so useful whys on why you need to make a change, because they don't inform you much. Some of the useful whys, in my opinion, is if you want to make a career transition, if you want to actually play to your strengths, you want to challenge your comfort zone, you want a growth mindset, you're aligning with your purpose, and you're aligning with your area of passion. These are incredibly powerful whys, because it literally means that you're not going to stop. You're going to try and get there and do whatever it takes. I want to leave you with a pro tip on this one. So an example of not so great why would be, I'd like to move to product marketing because I'm not happy in my current role. Doesn't tell me much on why you want to move. But if you say, I'd like to move to product marketing to leverage my strengths from launching my own brand on the side, I created this brand from concept to launch, starting from messaging, positioning, market fit, customer engagement, GTM strategy, and I find my areas of passion and strength naturally aligned towards this role. That gives the future recruiter or your hiring manager something to do, something tangible. It tells them that you've done some of this before. You know what this role is about, and you know what it takes to be part of it. And this is actually one of the biggest reasons why I was able to move internally at VMware, since I was able to communicate what I did with my Fluke Theory launch, how it aligned really well with what my professional career pursuits were looking. So definitely use that. The second one is to be able to identify transferable skills. Now, in terms of identifying transferable skills, like Rajini mentioned in the previous session, there's always going to be some transferable skills that you're going to be able to pick up, especially roles like project management, change management, product development, sales experience, any cross-functional interactions you've had, relationship building experiences you've had. These are incredibly valuable, and you will find them very useful, whether you're in a technical role or in a business role. If you're coming from a business to a technical role, or you're coming from a technical role to a business role, any transferable skill sets that you can pick from your current or previous experiences will be super helpful. So I really urge you to list all of that, all of your transferable skill set. The next step would be to list all of the gaps. So you've got a list of all the things that you're bringing to the role, and then you have to make a list of all the gaps that are known. You will be able to create an experience plus gap list with this. I'll give you a complete picture of where you stand, and you'll be able to assess your true fit as of today for the future role. And then again, like I mentioned, this will help you position yourself for a future role from a place of strength with the complete knowledge of what you're good at. The second, before that, another tip here is what I did when I was trying to move between jobs or transitions. I looked at various job descriptions and open requisitions for roles that were of interest to me across different companies, across different organizations, and then looked at all of the things that it takes to get that job. So it helps you define that list of tangible experiences or skill sets that you need in order to get to that future role. help you create your experience plus gap list. So I encourage you guys to get more and more job descriptions for that future role that you're looking at across different companies and what it takes to be there. And then plan for your skill gaps. Now, a plan for skill gaps is now you've got all of your experiences that you can bring over. You have identified the gaps that you need. What are you going to do about those gaps? Those first thing that I would say is pick up a professional course from an extension school to focus on a skill gap, in a particular skill gap. Now, there are a variety of professional courses available from extension schools across the Bay Area, in fact, across all of the United States and the world. And COVID times have enabled us to be able to take the advantage of taking these courses online. So you can do it at any point in time and from anywhere. So definitely pick extension school courses for those gaps so that you have at least the knowledge. You may not have the experience, but you have the knowledge of that gap. So it's definitely helpful. The second thing that you could do is find a peer or a coach in that role today. Now, when I say you should find a peer or a coach, it's like finding a peer or a coach is like, you know, any relationship. Take friendships. You can't just go to anybody at work and be like, hey, can you be my friend? It doesn't work like that. You can't go up to people and say, hey, can you be my mentor? You've got to be in the driver's seat. You need to know exactly what you need from this mentor, and you have to value their time and go in prepared for what are the specific areas you're looking for coaching on, and how you might be able to, what would success look for you? If you start today at this place, what does success look for you in a future time? So be very clear on your expectations and when you approach a peer or a coach. And then sign up for a shadow program. So if you're at VMware, I know that they had so many amazing take 1, take 2, take 3 programs that help you shadow into a different role, or it's a career rotation program that helps you do that role for a certain time. And it's a great way to understand whether that role is a fit for you or not. So if you have opportunities like this in your company, please by all means make sure to take advantage of it. And then being able to find an executive sponsor or a mentor who can help you navigate or introduce you to a few people. I have to mention, when you go in prepared to a coach or a peer or a mentor, there's so many of them at VMware itself who actually helped me, and they're very, very willing. All of the executives, all of the mentors are very willing when they see you that you're leaned in. They're extremely helpful. So take advantage of it, be on the driver's seat, and move along. And then one of the tips here that I would say is there's several courses, professional courses, as low as $350. So Harvard and Berkeley Extension Schools also offer many courses, but Stanford Continuing Studies offers several courses. So please take advantage of this. Whether or not it gets reimbursed, the networking opportunity is huge. I would totally go for it. And the fourth one here is being able to list all your areas of growth. This, I think, among all the 5 topics or all the 5 checklist items that I've shared, is probably the most important one. And when I say list areas of growth, I'm not just talking that count all of your weaknesses. It doesn't, areas of growth or development does not mean flaws or weakness. It may just reveal what you do not enjoy spending time on. It's powerful information, what you don't enjoy doing. It's extremely important. If you know that you do not enjoy making PowerPoints, or you do not enjoy being on Excel, and the role that your future role you're applying for requires you to spend majority of time doing that, you will probably get the job, but be miserable. So do you want that? I think it's important to list all the areas that you're either not skilled at or have not developed interest for. It's super powerful information. I cannot emphasize it more. So please do take the time to do that. And then you can reassess your true fit as of today for that future role. And then you position your future role from a place of strength and the knowledge of your growth areas. One pro tip here is that if you actually do not enjoy doing something, you can, when you're building a team in future, you can actually hire folks who can help you in those areas. So it'll be a well-rounded team, and They will fill for the gaps that you bring. So if you're not good at Excel, hire an Excel expert on your team. So that way your team is well-rounded. So it's always useful to know what you're not good at. And then finally, when you come to the network and apply stage, I cannot emphasize this more. Do not reach out to your hiring manager or apply to your future role before you've completed 1 to 4 steps. This is very, very critical, because when you reach to somebody, they want to make sure you've done the homework first. So when you've done the homework, set a clear agenda for your first meeting or your call with the recruiter. You express interest in your future role. You clearly articulate your why. Why do you want this job or this role? You list areas of experience and overlap with transferable skills that you can bring from your previous roles. And then you provide a plan for your skill gaps. And then you mention your strengths, what you're bringing to the table. And then you mention your areas of growth on what you hope to learn. So there's a two-way accountability, what you're bringing in and what you're hoping to learn from the company as well as this new role. This, I can tell you, will guarantee you at least a response, at least a conversation. It'll at least give you that leverage to be able to understand your true fit. Another last tip is being able to say, I'm not looking for a job, but a career transition. Respect your time, respect your mentor and hiring manager's time. Keep this entire meeting as a purpose-driven networking with a clear agenda and goals. Always be in the driver's seat. And anytime a mentor or a coach or a friend or peer is more invested in your career than you are, it's definitely a giveaway of your interest. So please don't do that. I think that's pretty much what I had. I know we've got a couple minutes. I'd love to take some questions. And if there's a final thought, I'd love to leave you guys with: set your career goals to be inspirational versus aspirational. The reason why I say that, you have to be inspired by your own career. It's whether others get or not. You need to look back and be proud of yourself. Aspirational kind of makes it a little hard because you're aspiring to be like someone else, and you're unique. You know, you've got your own unique set of skills and unique sets of gifts. So definitely be your own cheerleader. Be inspired by yourself and try to get all of those career goals that you've got on your bucket list. That's my contact information, and that's my LinkedIn. For those of you who may want to reach out for any questions, feel free to do that. I'll be happy to answer. We've got 1 minute. Is there any questions that I can answer at this point? I see one question here. I'll just try to take one because we're out of time. How can you begin to tangibly showcase transferable skills? Like I mentioned, look at the job requisitions, find out the skills that are required, and then make a list of things that you're already doing today. And when you go apply for that role, you can absolutely say, I'm doing these things that you're asking for in the requirement. I'm at time, so I'll stop sharing. Thank you very, very much for joining me today.